Hi everyone and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Amber and I'm a clinical trainer here at Medit. I'm so excited to have you here as we dive into how you can take your digital workflow to the next level with our SmartX platform featuring the brand new i900c scanner. Today's session is all about showing you how this powerful combo can streamline your process, boost accuracy, and ultimately make your life a little easier in the clinic. Now, just a quick reminder, this is a live session. My team and I are here with you. We're ready to assist you and answer any questions you might have. So feel free to drop questions in the chat as we go. We'll be checking in throughout the session, and we've also carved out some time at the end for a Q&A, so don't be shy. We're here to help make sure you get the most value possible out of today's webinar. When the i900 was released last year, the response was amazing. People loved the speed, the design, and the performance. But the one thing we kept hearing over and over again from our users was, wait, what happened to the button? So guess what? You asked and we listened. With the new i900c, the button is officially back. Here it is. That simple. Tactile features make scanning even more intuitive, and we know it's going to make a big difference for a lot of clinicians who have missed having that control at their fingertips. Okay, let's talk about the i900c, the newest addition to Medit's scanner lineup. What's great is that it keeps everything we already know and love from the i900. You still got that sleek, lightweight unibody design that feels great in the hand and is easy to maneuver. Don't forget that field of view is wide and clear, which really helps with capturing full arches efficiently. And with a 30 millimeters of depth scan, it's especially effective when scanning edentulous cases or situations where capturing soft tissue depth really matters. But here's where it gets even better. The i900c is designed to work hand in hand with Medit's new SmartX workflow. Now, this is where ScanLadder and SmartFlag system come into play. Together, they're streamlining implant scanning like never before. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. How the scanner and this new workflow come together to make your clinical process smoother, smarter, and more predictable. Now, let's take a look how nice that button is. Isn't this cute? I love it. Here's an eye-opener for you. Systems like ICAM Tupel 3D and Shine 3D are known for their precision and professional grade results. We're talking high resolution scans, robust software support, and even great integration options. But they also come with a pretty steep price tag. So for clinics and labs that want high-end results but don't want to invest tens of thousands of dollars up front, Medit SmartX system is a solid alternative. It's a great example of how digital dentistry is evolving, and we're no longer forced to choose between accuracy and affordability. Now you can have both. Now, this technology complements our latest and greatest workflow within Medit Link. And I'm sure you're all aware of the advantages of leveraging photogrammetry for dentalist workflows. And like I said before, some of those disadvantages are the associated costs with additional equipment that are required to execute those workflows. So with this in mind, Medit sought to partner with a more feasible approach known as Grammetry. Our SmartX workflow allows us to leverage Grammetry scan body kits such as ScanLadder and Apollo, which serves as a great alternative while still maintaining the same accuracy as photogrammetry. That's right, I said same. Without having to invest in additional hardware, all you need is a i900 classic scanner and a Grammetry scan body kit of your choosing. At this time, we have enabled scan body matching for both Apollo and ScanLadder, which basically means the SmartX workflow will recognize those libraries and enhance the stitching outcome. So, what is the value of these systems? Well, when digital workflows first emerged, many were approaching multi-unit implants the same way they would a single implant. But with the way intraoral cameras stitch data, this allowed for a lot of discrepancies since it would often reference that singular scan body that was then being moved from implant to implant. So it was then realized early on that when working with multi-units, we need to have different identifiers for each implant site. You'll see that with both the scan ladder and Apollo kits that I have here, that each scan body is unique with a different marking to obtain better cross-arch accuracy. Now, taking a closer look at these kits, let's start with scan ladder. So for this system, we're going to position the scan bodies so that they are centrally located, allowing you to scan in the center to capture all 6 units in one scan frame, similar to OptiSplint, and we want to ensure that they're not overlapping whatsoever. These kits come in either a set of 6 to 8, along with the torque wrench, rows and screws, and a driver. One of the most exciting things about this system is its versatility. It is compatible with over 90 implant systems, so no matter what brand you're working with, it's got you covered. And if you're using any CAD software like 3Shape or ExoCAD, you're in luck because both platforms have their implant libraries available for download directly from their websites. So whether you're designing restorations or planning implant cases, you've got a seamless integration right at your fingertips. So I would make good use of that. So from what I've heard and seen, as more users integrate Medit's i900 Classic and ScanLadder into their digital workflow, the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. Let's take a look at what people are saying. So this one doctor said, tried my first case today, 6 minutes total scan time is insane. That would have at least taken a few hours doing a verified impression and bite registration. Nice teamwork, Adam and Medit. And also, scanned my first case today, went awesome. The integration into Medit was very refreshing. My designer loved the scan, and the process was much more stress-free than I'm used to with the full arch scanning. Now, let's take a minute to realize how amazing this system will be utilized in the clinic. I really do think this is a game changer. And here's something special. With the purchase of a ScanLadder kit, you're not just getting the tools, you're also getting a free ScanLadder course. That's right, free. You'll receive comprehensive training that covers everything from the scanning techniques all the way through the design process using ExoCAD. And what makes this even better is that the course is fully integrated with Digital Dental Academy. The best part, the entire system is built by clinicians for clinicians, so you can trust that the training is tailored to your real-world needs and challenges. It's all about making your experience smoother and your results more predictable. So, don't miss your chance on that. I really wouldn't. Now, let's turn to Smart Flag by Apollo Kit. This system is pretty similar to ScanLadder, but you'll notice that in these scan bodies are not only aesthetically different, but the placement will be different as they will run horizontally along the alveolar ridge versus central placement. But pro tip, the screwdriver used for the ScanLadder kit can also be used for the Apollo kit as well. And similar to ScanLadder, Apollo has compatibility with many of the implant systems we know and love. Know that we have a better understanding of the available systems. Are you guys ready to see the amazing SmartX workflow? Let's get into it. So with our MeditLink open, we're going to go ahead and start off by creating a new case. And here's our RX page. This is where we're going to enter in all of our implants. And after that, we're going to be selecting all the types, methods, and shades if applicable. Now, once we've selected all of our implants, we're going to go ahead and enter the remaining teeth as Pontics, as well as entering our same method and materials. Once that is complete, we can go ahead and launch the scan window, but keep in mind you can always go back and edit the lab slip, but it's more important that you mark the correct implant sites before scanning. Now, once you see that scan window is launched, you'll see the traditional 3-page workflow. So what you want to do here is select the All-in-X workflow to activate the appropriate sequence. And I know all those little scan stages look like a lot, but don't be fooled. It's going to be a piece of cake. I promise you. If I can do it, you can do it. Now, once we select OK, you'll see this little tip window pop up, which is essentially instructions on how to execute this workflow. And I suggest just clicking through that. Next, you'll see our scan body library matching options. So for today, we're going to be using Scan Ladder. So we'll select that and hit confirm. So we talked earlier about how we want to position these Scan Ladder scan bodies. So you're going to go ahead and place those over the multi-unit abutments in the patient's mouth and tighten them, being sure that there are no overlap. Once they are placed, we'll go ahead and start our scan with a single click of our i900c scanner. Now, starting from the anterior, we're going to go to scan back towards the palate and then also fan out towards the sides, being sure to capture all surfaces of the scan bodies. And notice how we scan the scan bodies, they're changing colors, and what that indicates is the software recognizing that library. And what this does is also indicate that the data is properly meshing, so we're looking for primarily green and blue surface areas. Now, once we've acquired all of that data, we can remove the scan bodies from the patient's mouth and move on to scan the multi-unit abutments and surrounding soft tissue. Again, we want to make sure we're getting a good scan of that soft tissue around those abutments, making sure it's nice and accurate. You can see here how it picks up pretty fast. And then once we're done with that, we'll go ahead and scan our opposing arch, making sure, like I always say, we get a good scan no matter which arch we're doing, even if it is an opposing arch. We need that data to be nice and accurate for a nice and accurate outcome. Now, lastly, if the patient has an existing prosthesis, you can go ahead and insert that into the patient's mouth and scan their appliance. Scanning their prosthesis in also helps verify that the implant positions are accurate in relation to the final restoration. Again, like I always say, like I just said, we want to make sure we get a good accurate scan, especially of the prosthesis. We want to make sure everything's accurate and good to go. And then after this step, all we have left to do is to make sure we get a good bite scan. Now, if the patient doesn't have a prosthetic that you can use during that bite capture, you can use a jig to correctly position the jaw and scan both bite 1 and bite 2. And you can see here, it picks up the bite pretty quickly. Once you have that first bite and you move on to the second bite, it'll pick it up just like that. Once we have both bites, we can go ahead and complete our scan, process, and get ready to send to the lab. And there you guys have it. Now, tell me that workflow wasn't easy. One thing I did want to touch on is our trimming tools. We definitely can't forget this when working with digital scans. They're there for a reason, and they can make a world of a difference in cleanliness and clarity of your final scans. So the first one is our polylane trimming tool, which takes away any big pieces that you would like to take away. And then our next is our brush trim tool. We have 3 different brush sizes, small, medium, and large. And this is where you can just brush along all the areas that you would like to take away. And then last but not least, my favorite is our quick trim tool. If we click this, this takes away any of the islands or any of the small pieces that are floating. That will just take that away. So again, let's not forget to use our trim tools just so that our scan is clean and ready to send to its final destination to the lab for design. Before we wrap up and jump into the Q&A, I just want to make sure you all know about some exciting opportunities to get up close and personal with our new i900c and the SmartX system. So with that said, we will be at the AAO in Philly from April 25th through the 27th. So if you're going to be there, just make sure to stop by booth number 1950 and say hi. And if you're in Southern California, we'll also be at CDA South in Anaheim from May 15th to the 17th, which is another great chance to check out the latest in digital dentistry at our booth. And hey, if you want to stay in the loop for future events and updates, be sure to follow us on Instagram at medit.na. We can't wait to see you all there. It's going to be great, and I'm so excited to see you guys. So don't be shy. Come up, say hi. I see there has been some chat activity during the webinar, but we'll now open up for any questions you might have. Let's see. Okay, here's a good one. Could we get further training on SmartX workflow? Yes, of course. Some dealers do have training options, but if you want to book directly through Medit, we do offer virtual on-demand training, or if you'd like someone in the office, which we do love to go to the office, we do offer on-site training with one of our skilled clinical trainers, aka me, or one of my colleagues. We can have a booking link ready for you in the chat, so we'll just drop it right in. Where can I buy one of these scan body kits? Yes, so ScanLiner is the first kit available in North America and will be available for sale through select Medit distributors. So please contact our Medit sales team for specific purchasing information. Let's see. Okay, can you still customize the scan stages in the workflow? Yes, of course. The SmartX workflow is customizable. You can actually rearrange, remove, or replace stages as needed for your preferences. Oh, here's a really, really good one. Is ScanLiner and SmartX system compatible with my existing i700 Medit scanner? Yes, the i700 is compatible with the new SmartX system and is still able to capture the ScanLiner's scan bodies. So that's really cool. And then now, is the i900, let's see, is the i900c worth upgrading if I'm already using the i700 wireless? Although the i700 wireless is still compatible with the new systems, of course, I believe the upgrade is worth it as you get a bigger field of view and a deeper scan depth to help with the edentulous areas, and it's a lot lighter than the 700 wireless. You're able to maneuver around a little bit easier. It'd be easier on your wrist as well. So do I think it's worth it? Yes, of course. With that said, we are coming up on time for today's session. Thank you guys for joining today's live webinar. We truly, truly appreciate the participation you have shown and have learned from this session. This webinar is recorded and will be available for replay if you want to rewatch any specific parts of this session. And if we didn't get to any of your questions during the webinar, our team will make sure and will be following up to make sure you get the information that you need. Also, please don't hesitate to reach out to us directly for any further questions or feedback, and keep an eye out for more educational webinars like these in the future. Again, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you all have a great day.